Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel and the Teac R-999X. We're continuing service on this deck today. I wanted to tell you about how the capacitor changes went first off, so we'll start with that. Actually, wait, no, we'll start with the spring that went missing first. This is it right here, and this is an extremely strong spring. Looking at it alone, it's just no wonder that this thing caused that arm to fail, because there's just not much support there for a spring this stout in there. So I'm going to have to figure out a way around this. I think I know what I'm going to do, but that's for later. Meantime, I'm going to put this off to the side and we'll talk about capacitors, because there are some things to talk about with this deck. First of all, in my research, I found a thread over at Tapeheads where someone was questioning the value of of at least one of the capacitors, and that is C810. And what his concern was, he found that capacitor in his deck was 6,800 microfarads, and he was worried about whether or not it was the right one, considering the value in the service manual is 4,700. Well, in my deck, that value is 4,700. However, since the other guy's deck had evidence of never having the capacitors done before, I decided to replace this one with 6,800 microfarads, just like this one. So that's what's in there now. That's not the only place I found weirdness, however. These two capacitors are both 25 volts, 1,000 microfarads. You can see them right there. And yeah, there's a lot of that old nasty circuit glue in there, so you have to get rid of that too. I have gotten rid of it. Well, I've gotten rid of it from any place that could cause problems. Let's put it that way. It took a long time to get that stuff off. Anyhow, in the service manual, one of these is 1,000, the other is 2,200 microfarad. The 2,200 microfarad part happens to apparently be on the power supply rail that regulates not only all of the audio op amps on the deck, but it also regulates the servo board. So I decided to upgrade these to 2200s on both sides. So that should help the deck. And they're both Panasonic FR. In fact, I've gone in with Panasonic FR almost everywhere, except for the 6800. You can't get FR in that size. So that's a Nippon Chemicon, KY, I think. Anyhow, another one, 25 volts, 2,200 microfarads. That one got changed like for like. I went FR there. This one is 6.3 volts, 4,700 microfarads. And I think that one is coming off of this capacitor right here. It's downstream. I'll show you where it is in the deck. It is right down yonder, and I only had one FR replacement for that. It's FR 16 volts. So I've got 5 more of those capacitors incoming, because I have been going through them. So the front one's going to get changed as soon as those get here. But I'm out right now, so I cannot change that one. Anyhow, this one tested good, just like all of the other Nippon Chemicon parts in the deck, but we do have other problems, and those other problems are, once again, Marcon. Every single Marcon cap I found in this deck is either on the way to failing or very on the way to failing. They are all high ESR. 2 of them were out of spec. And good idea to get rid of all these old Marcons that are going out of spec, because I have found them in worse shape than these in other decks. Like, remember my GX R88? It was full of really bad Marcons. They were more than 50% out of spec, I think, in that deck. So, well, it was either those or the Elna parts that deck had, but fortunately there are no Elnas here. With regards to further circuit modifications, which are going to be done, I will just bring you up here. I'm not going to do them now. I'm going to wait till the deck is fully serviced first. Let's see if I can find something to point with. You see this IC here, along with this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And, well, let's see here. Maybe that's not one of the ones. Anyway, there are 8 4066 switches in this deck. And they're not particularly good quality 4066s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace all 8 of them with Max 4066 ACPD+, the higher quality versions of that chip. And as it turns out, that leaves me short, because I only have 10 of them. Now, why would 10 of them leave me short when I only need 8 for this deck? Well, it's because the Nakamichi 680ZX Christmas Special deck, that wants 3 of them. So I've got 1 more of those coming in, and I've only got 1 more coming in because they're $12 each. That's why I've only got 1 more coming in. Anyhow, everything went well with the recap. You can see that side of the board is really clean now because I have been cleaning it. So I did a power-up check. Everything seems to be good. So I'm just kind of waiting for the alcohol to dry, and then I will go ahead and power it up again and maybe do some testing, because there were Marcon caps on the servo board as well. The servo board controls the 2 reel motors, so I was a little bit concerned in my last video that the take-up side had a little bit too much torque. It felt like, but again, I was testing without a tape in it, so I don't know for sure. So I was really nervous about that, so I decided to fully recap the servo board, and it's been done. I don't know how it is now because I haven't checked it out yet. All right, it is Sunday morning or afternoon. Actually, it's the afternoon, and I have been continuing to work on the capacitors on this thing. I'm finding quite a few more Marcon caps. There were a few of them on this board, and as you can see, I've done some swapping over to the fancy Nichicon Muse capacitors on that board. But I've done some recapping on this board as well. There were lots of Marcons on here. Still a few that I have to change yet, but in order to change those, I've had to get these foam blocks off the board. And it's a good thing I did too, because those were all completely adhered to the board using that nasty circuit glue that goes corrosive and conductive. And point of fact, when I fired this thing up for testing earlier this morning, in preparation for all this, it was going into pause without me asking it to. And sure enough, we had one of those foam blocks right over this section here. And look what's right there, pause. So that's probably what was causing that. It may not have been all of it, because the pause button, I think, is... Where is it? It's here somewhere. There it is. It's on the drawer. So, yes, you have to get rid of these blocks to get the circuit glue off, and I will reattach these blocks using silicone, not circuit glue. Should hold up and should work. Anyway, I got lots of stuff to do. I got a bunch of that glue on my hands now because it's just getting everywhere. But at least I got it off the board now. All right, folks. All of the audio path capacitors have been done, and you can see I've done a lot of them in UES. That's because the only value this deck wants is 4.7 microfarads bipolar in the entire audio path, everywhere. Well, almost everywhere. There are some film capacitors on the DBX board that are not electrolytic, but whatever. We can ignore those. Look at all these little pretty green capacitors. They're all over the place. There's only 2 I did not get changed. By the way, down here is the Dolby board, or the Dolby section. Well, the Dolby board, as well as the rest of the board. Anyway, there are 2 headphone coupling capacitors down here. Those did not get changed because I totally ran out. I have no more Nichicon Muse UES parts in 4.7 microfarads anymore. They're gone. This deck used them all. Anyway, you can see all the 4066 switches. I haven't changed those yet. I want to get the deck serviced and up and running first before I start dropping those in, because they were very expensive. Costs $80 to do one of these with the Max 4066 ACPD Plus chips. That's what it costs. So I would rather not risk those chips until I know the deck is working. And I've found a lot of issues with this deck, so I kind of want to be just a little bit safe with this. Anyway, there were some traces that gave me troubles here. Let's see if I can find one. This one here had to be redone because even trying to protect the trace, it just pulled out. And I had to fix it, and it's fixed now. But there's another one somewhere else on the board that's like that, but whatever. I'm having a battle with myself as to whether or not I want to replace those foam blocks just yet, but I think I can probably do it. I don't see any bad solder joints around here, and anyhow, silicone is easy to remove compared to what they used before, so maybe I can go ahead and do that. Okay, as you can see, I have the foam blocks reinstalled using red RTV sealant. I hope I've got enough weight on this one to hold it down, but this one should be okay. I've tried to keep the RTV away from anything really important, but there's only so much you can do with the way this deck is designed, so it should hold, I think. The important thing is I got all the old conductive glue off there, so very happy about that. Now, shall we see how bad some of these Marcon capacitors are? I think that we shall. If I can get my camera thinger to cooperate, and it doesn't want to anymore for some reason. I gotta take this arm apart and fix it, I guess. We're gonna just use the tweezers here, because I don't want to deal with the big meter right now. Okay, let's grab this one. 16 volts, 100 microfarads. What do we get off this one? 81, 4.4 ohms ESR. How about this one? 10 volts, 220. $182.6, 1.7 ohms. Let's see, let's pick another one here. This one's 10 volts, 220. $182, 1.7 ohms. Not real bad, but could be better. Okay, this one is 45 microfarads, 4.2 ohms. This is 4.725. That's not so good anymore. How about this one? Another one of the same value. 42, 7 ohms. That one's bad. For sure. Let's see. 10 volts, 100. That one's real bad. That one's half the value it's supposed to be, and 18 ohms ESR. This is why you get rid of Marcons that are this old. Okay, 10 volts, 100. Let's try this one. Equally bad. Those are now, oh, what are they? I think I used the fancy red ones in there. The Worth ATLL line, I think is what I put in there. I'm not sure. Anyway, all of these 220s at 10 volts are now Panasonic FR, and I've used FR everywhere else I could get away with it, so this deck should be good now. And I'm glad I had just enough of those bipolar UES parts for this, because this is a Teac. I wanted to have the good parts, so I'm going to try to find some more of those from eBay. I'm not sure how good they're going to be, but it's either that or I start going over to WEMA Films for the 4.7s, and those are really, really expensive. So I'm going to see what I can find, but I'm not going to hold my breath on this. Otherwise, I would like to have some for the V900X because I haven't done the audio capacitors in that one yet. But at least this one's got them, so I'm happy there. Just thought I'd go looking real quick in the schematics just to see what those two really bad Marcon capacitors were actually doing in the circuit. Well, here they are, C720 right here and C719 up here. You know what those do? They filter the plus and minus 7.2 volt rails on this deck, or 7.1, as the case may be. What do those rails do? Well, they control the power to all of the 4066 switches. That's kind of why I was thinking maybe we don't put those new 4066s in yet. And by the way, these being bad explains everything about that loud popping sound we were getting in the DBX disc position. That was more than likely causing that. So it's good that those are gone. Hopefully it holds up from here, but it should now. It should be very happy now. Anyhow, I just ordered a bunch more of those 4.7 microfarad UES parts. I've got 50 of them coming in. I don't know if for sure the source is going to be trustworthy because, again, it is in China. That's the only place you can find them now. But I've got more coming in. Anyway, 33 bucks for 50 was a lot cheaper than probably $3 or $4 each from DigiKey for the WEMA parts. That would be equivalent to that. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, it is Tuesday the 5th, and I'm going to do some work on the drawer, hopefully get it all done. I'm not exactly sure how much I can get done because not feeling extremely well today, but I will do my best. Still hoping I can get this fully serviced and up and running by the weekend, but I don't know exactly if I can. What I will do first is I will go ahead and zip tie these wires together so I can keep track of where they go when I put the thing back together, because I got to cut these zip ties right there in order to get everything apart. Man, I do not feel good today. I've been sneezing my head off and just in general miserable the entire day so far. So I reserve the right to go away and come back tomorrow if I have to. Okay, that's done. We'll just snip the existing zip ties here so I can get this thing apart. And I found out what the problem was with that CP1 error. Or at least I thought it was an error. It's not an error. It's a feature. But I found out why it was coming on without me asking for it. I'll show you in a second here, once I get that zip tie out. The problem with that message was this button right here, CPS. It gets stuck. It's physically getting stuck. So I'm going to have to free that up along with whatever else I'm doing today. So let's see, how am I going to get into this? Well, let's try to pull the front off first. Got a few screws to deal with. Okay, it's just coming completely away, and there's wiring and stuff under there, so maybe I should go ahead and take this part off as well. I've got 4 screws on that, it looks like. Okay, what can we do now? Okay, and that wants to come up now. All right then. Interesting. But can I remove this front panel so I can work on that separately? There is a wiring harness there, but no connector. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start taking this apart from here. So can I get this board out now? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, there we go. And look at all these buttons here. I'm going to want to replace those. I hope they are the right size for me to replace them. They look like it. Again, I got tons of those buttons, so I might as well go in with new ones. Let's see, which one's the one that was sticking? Third one over. It's not the button switch, so it must be this. Yeah, that does seem a little bit sticky in there. Wonder if I could just clean that up and have it work properly. Thinking maybe that is the case. Question is, how do I get the buttons out to clean them? That is a good question. I'm not sure what the good answer would be. But I will go off camera and I will replace all these button switches and I will come back, I guess. Actually, are those the same types? They may not be because they've got a 5th pin here that is soldered down and doing something. I don't know if it's 100% necessary that I replace with the same type or not, but, well, maybe not. Most of these don't actually go to separate traces. Yeah, I think it'd be fine. Anyway, I'll go off camera and I'll replace those and we'll see what happens. I'll keep the old ones for now just in case I gotta swap them back in or something. There you go, new tactile switches on the front panel. I hope they work. They seem like they're going to, but we'll have to find out. Not the easiest board to desolder, even for the desoldering gun, but I managed. With regards to this sticking CPS control, I did the best I could with it, but this whole assembly cannot be taken apart to do any cleaning. And I think that's what the problem is it's dirty in there. So I don't know if I've gotten that fixed or not. I've tried to as best I can, but we'll just have to see. I don't know what else to do about that. I don't think lube is the answer to that issue, but whatever, I don't know. And the front panel is back together. I'm still not entirely happy with these buttons, but if I press them at kind of an angle, like I'm doing right now, every single one works. I've got more than one, however, that kind of try to get stuck if I don't do sort of a downwards angle on these. Like that one just got stuck. And I've done everything I can to clean those, so I just don't know what else to do with this. Except let them be the way they are. So it's time for me to get inside this part of the whole assembly now, and I got to get you on my boom arm for this. I imagine this part is going to be the most fun because I wanted to get inside these switches to clean them. Like the DBX switches and all that other stuff. Note that wire went to that exact screw right there. Take the shield off. And we've got multiple boards under here. Great. Okay, now what? Are we having to remove all of the noise reduction buttons, it looks like? Yes. Just went all over the friggin' place. Great. Now I gotta figure out where those go again. Wonderful. Fortunately, I've got video footage I can go back to on that. So blank scan is also falling out loose. Okay, so here's the switches. I'll have to desolder those and check them. Maybe they don't even need me to get inside them to clean, but I don't know, I'll deal with that. So I want to get this board off as well. Maybe I didn't need to put my zip ties on the wires to keep them straight, because it seems like I'm able to do much of this without having to mess around with the wires. Okay, the output level control needs to come off, and it has. And now we've got this switch on the side. There we go. Okay. Fun stuff. Got one button switch here to replace. And I should treat this switch. This other one I spray cleaned, the one for the auto reverse. But that one I'll have to pull off the board and treat. And of course this needs to come apart and be fixed. So I guess I'll do that stuff first. Work on this little board. And hopefully these controls don't need cleaning too much, because those things are kind of hard to clean. I will try to spray clean them. But I don't know if I can get them apart to do any real cleaning. Guess I'll get inside this thing on camera just to make sure I get it back together the way it's supposed to be. I'll just show the camera how it is in case I have to consult my footage again. And I will go all the way counterclockwise with it, just to hopefully help myself remember how it goes. Bend the tabs. If I can. Okay, that might have done the trick. Okay, and we are in. Interesting how this is. And we need to get the top part of this apart if we can. It's not making it real easy for me to get in here. There we go. Yeah, definitely needs some help. I got to get my Fader Lube F100 out. That will help greatly. Iso alcohol. And let's see, I need some of my really small swabs. Those right there. Those ought to help. We'll see if they do. I don't know if it's possible to completely take this apart or not, but I'm thinking maybe not. The problem is these little teeny tiny fingers around the middle section here. Trying to add just a little more spring tension, but I can't get to the little fingers that are underneath quite so easily. So you can see there's another little finger right down in there. I can't get to those. So hopefully I can get this working again properly, but at least I can get to these contacts fairly easily. I can clean those with a Q-tip. Again, just iso alcohol right there. problem is the ring around the center part, where those tiniest of fingers go, towards the very center, that looks pretty corroded. So I hope this works after I'm done with it. But there's only so much a guy can do without actually replacing this. And I don't know if you'd find a replacement for this. I may have a look on AliExpress later, but I'm not holding my breath at all. Anyhow, I'll do the best I can. I'm going to put it back together now, maybe take some measurements. Okay, situation report. The output level control has self-destructed. I had it all back together. I did some testing. It was working fine on one side, but not on the other, so I had to get back into it. The side that wasn't working was the one closest to the knob, of course. And in the process of trying to get these wipers to tighten up and actually contact what they needed to, they actually came completely off the rotor. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this. I might need a new one of these. I will do my best, but I will not make any promises. And that's all I can say. If I can't get this to work, I will probably set this up so it's got full volume all the time, but I don't know. About the best I could do with this, unless I can find a replacement for this. Okay, here's the deal. I was not able to fix this. It's permanently broken. Can't do nothing about it. Worse than that, I cannot find a replacement anywhere. Not for this type of potentiometer. They just don't exist anymore. So I'm just going to have to bypass this because I can't find it to replace it, and I can't fix this one. So got to do what I got to do. Wish it was a different outcome with this, but I kind of suspected maybe it was going to be like this all along. Anyway, I'll just bypass this and just keep on going. Okay, I have just moved on to servicing the record level potentiometers and be very, very careful with this entire assembly. This is not going to be replaceable if you break it, and I just hope I didn't break it getting it apart, but I can at least get in here and clean this now. So I'm going to do that. And hopefully everything works after it goes back together. I'm starting to lose hope that I'm going to be able to fix this entire deck at this point. But I will say, in order to get this apart, I found it best to use one of these plastic spudgers in order to non-destructively pry these sections apart, because there are these little claws everywhere that you have to deal with that are holding this together. So just take your time and be very patient. That's all I can say there. Well, the record level controls are back in, and I hope they're working. They tested good, so I'll just show you if I can. There they are. Now it's time to do these switches, and I don't think this is going to be anything approaching easy because of the way that it is. You can see this switch style has two little springs down in here for the latching mechanism, and I just don't know how I'm going to deal with this at all. I think I'll have to remove those springs somehow and reinstall them, but I don't know if I like my chances of not losing those. But I do have to work on these switches, so wish me luck, everyone. All right, folks, I got the switches apart. These things are a bloody nightmare. I would advise not to deal with these if you absolutely don't have to, but I did get them apart, as you can see, or I did get the switches out. This is the sliding plate here that provides the latching mechanism. I hope I can get that back in place properly. But the two springs are just off to the right here, next to my little plastic spudger. I'm going to leave them there until I'm ready to put this back together, and I hope I can. But maybe I can. The springs just go on these little teeny tiny little tabs there, right down yonder. And that's the way you figure out how to put them back together. But this one switch is latching, so keep that in mind. I'm not sure I like my chances of actually getting this one apart and cleaning it and fixing it, but I don't know. I may try to spray clean this one because I don't want to take this one apart. The other ones I don't think are going to be too bad, except I did break one of the latches on this one. But once it's back inside the housing, that shouldn't matter. Anyway, we'll get into this one on camera maybe. If it's possible. I'm just using my fingernail to unlatch the top here. It is loose. And where are my contacts? Well, my contacts are just right down in there. And you can see the spring and all kinds of other goodness down in there. So this is going to be fun. No, not really. Anyway, I'll clean these up and try to reinstall them. I'll report back when I've done. All right, so that was the worst job ever, but switches are back in, apparently working. They're all testing pretty good. I didn't quite like some of the readings I got on some of them, but they're working well enough. They've all been treated with my magic dielectric grease here, so hopefully they'll stay good now. I think they will. Anyway, I got to put these back in the deck now, and hopefully I can put the drawer back together and for testing and stuff. I kind of don't want to do any more work on this deck this week after that, but I guess we'll at least assemble it as far enough to test, and I'll see if I feel like getting into the transport tomorrow. Possibly could do the transport tomorrow, but yeah, after this, I kind of want a break. Anyhow, we'll see what I feel like doing. Okay, the tray is back together. Is it working? I don't know. I think I will find out tomorrow because I'm real irritated at this thing. Not easy to get back together, this tray mechanism is. Anyhow, while I was putting it back together, this button panel fell off, so I decided to try this stuff to re-adhere it. I don't know if it'll hold or not long term, but seems like it's working for now. Okay, folks, just time for a quick power-up test before I get done for the day. I don't know if I really want to do this right now, but I guess I will because I need to know. All right, let's fire it up. Got the blinky light on the tray. It's going in and out properly. Let's try the DBX, Dolby C, disc, B. Okay, everything seems to be working. I'm going to turn on audio now with the volume all the way down just so we can make sure we don't blast our ears off here. Okay, let's see if we got audio. Nothing there, for Pete's sake. I did get it hooked up to the right input, did I? Yeah, that's correct. We just got no audio. Great. It's reading. Something's going on with the right channel on that side, but never fails. Everything's got a fight. Well, folks, I got her back. Wasn't easy. I did indeed have the wrong pins shorted out on that. And I have to kind of leave this control exactly where it is now, otherwise one channel drops out. Fun. I guess I should have electrically removed that from the signal path. Anyway, it's working now. I got to put my buttons back in, of course, but I think she's going to be okay. I tested the test tone stuff over here. Those work, but I don't know how well they work. All right, folks, so here's the score. I have decided not to service the transport in this video. We'll come back to this on a part 3, I guess. This deck was just so aggravating to me today that I just think I would rather have a little break from it. So I don't know exactly when I'll do the next part of it with the transport service. I'm actually waiting on a new torque tape that will allow me to check the torque in both directions and see if it's all good. I know it's working in the forward play direction because my existing torque tape was able to help me figure that out, but I just don't know if it's working in the reverse direction, and I need that new torque tape for that. Measures up to 100 grams per centimeter in either direction, so I thought I had this fixed. It's getting stuck again, of course it is. Oh well, what are you going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you this up here. I decided to go ahead and disconnect the connector that goes to the front panel output level control, or the drawer level control, and I decided to just replicate the control over here as if it were maxed out. So we've got two 20K resistors and two jumper wires, and it's working fine that way. I'm just going to leave it like that because it was buzzing a little when I still had the output level control pulled in on the drawer. So whatever, it's working fine. Anyhow, next week, I'm not sure what I'm doing next week. I think maybe we'll get back into the Iowa ADWX 808. I owe you another video on that one. That one's been sitting for a long time, needs an update, and it needs to get the B deck fixed. The A deck I actually fixed off camera, so I know I can do the B deck now, and I'll show you exactly how to deal with the auto reverse gears on that. Week after, I don't know, something else easy, probably. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Take care.